You didn't tell me I couldn't even type on my phone.
Okay, welcome to the Passion Room. I am your host, Miss Yolanda Allen. I am here with Miss Michele Allen, and I'm super excited to be on the segment today as we talk about an important topic that I know that each and every last one of us can relate to, and definitely, I'm sure, looking for resources and opportunities to make change the narrative as it relates to mental illness. Um, I am excited about the Passion Room. I'm probably just testing out my family members right now. I have several segments I have lined up, but I'm testing the waters, as they would call it, with my family members. So I appreciate them for allowing me to do that. Um, the Passion Room is set up to literally talk about things that people are passionate about, to talk about topics and come up with solutions that people are passionate about, whether it's their business or subject matters that target and affect us as a community. That's what the Passion Room is set up to do. As I was actually heading to meet with Michele for this segment, there was just a thought process that came to mind, and as it relates to our passion and things that we're passionate about. And so I just kind of typed it in my phone because I didn't, when you get ideas, you don't want to forget it. And so I put it in my phone because I want to make sure I brought that up during this segment. And it basically, a lot of times we have things that we are passionate about, things that we want to do, and then life happens, and then we really find out what our real purpose and what our real passion is. And so as I was heading here, I typed this thing in my phone, and it basically says life alters the direction of the path we are walking. Our journey changes. We have new insights. We see life more clear. Our understanding of why we are put here on earth becomes our guiding light. Our visions become clear. This becomes our passion. So I thought I just wanted to make sure I make a note of that because I didn't want to let that slip away. Because a lot of times we have our mindset on what we think we want to do, how we want to do things, and sometimes God gives us a whole different plan. I know we didn't see this coming. I know we didn't see this coming, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn more and to be more proactive in this space. So I just want to introduce Miss Michele. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing good. About yourself?
I'm good. Um, so we definitely wanted to go over certain things as it relates to mental illness. I can certainly say I appreciate her journey. Everybody can't go through it. Everybody can't relate to it. Everybody's path is different, but I can definitely appreciate her journey and how she's taken it on head first and just kind of taking this thing by the bull head and just literally taking it and done a lot of positive things as it relates to dealing with family members, loved ones, friends who suffer from mental illness. So, really, where we wanted to start with is how mental illness is impacting the people in our society, in particular, people that are real close to people. Reed may not really realize it, but there are some people Reed may think are doing just fine and are suffering with mental illness. So we wanted to talk about that and how it's impacting us as a society of people.
Okay. And so it is has gotten to the point where it is becoming more relatable,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hitting a lot of individuals' families as when it comes to um, individuals suffering from mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it where it's not as it doesn't give much attention to until a lot of times that it happens right there in your home, or it
Mm-hmm.
happens to someone closely connected to you. So a lot of times it's like um, people really don't can't relate to it, or they're not giving it much attention because um, they're not experiencing it. So
Right.
it's almost like, okay, they drive by and they see someone that's suffering from mental illness in some fashion, but it's not in their own backyard. So
Mm-hmm.
what do? We can continue to live on with life.
Right.
News flash is that it's starting to happen more and more.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of individuals are starting to experience in mental illness in their close connected family. Um, I want to say, and I have brought this attention to several people individuals that um, I want to say like the mayor, the governor, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot more different people. What we did not pay attention to is the fact that the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
brought on another pandemic. And
Mm-hmm.
so we were focusing on COVID-19, we were focusing on that pandemic itself. And what it did was it birthed another pandemic. So now, not only have we are we dealing with COVID-19, but now we're dealing with a lot of people that have been affected dramatically from that. And
Mm-hmm.
so now we deal with mental illness.
Right.
And again, mental illness can look different from one individual to the next. Some people function with their mental illness. Not saying that you shouldn't receive help because you can function with it, because anytime that you have situations where you're dealing with mental illness, you should seek help because we want to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's different levels to it. You know, there's again, I said before, you can just have something such as anxiety, depression, uh, PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go over into the ones that can be more traumatic, like schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we're looking at now is that the pandemic has birthed another pandemic,
Right.
and that's a concern in our community. That's and especially our community, meaning our community could be, because even in depression by itself,
Mm-hmm.
you see it more in Hispanics and African Americans. Not saying that any other race does not experience this, because they are experiencing it,
Mm-hmm.
but the rate is higher in those levels. Or should I even say that the rate is higher
Mm-hmm.
in the community where there's low income families?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and what is it?
I have
What
a
does it?
question
Mm-hmm,
about that. So, do you think it's a matter of some people get help earlier in the game?
mm-hmm,
And I'll just say some other races are that's a norm to take, to take on dealing with that when it's first noticeable. Do you think maybe one, obviously I believe it has a lot to do with the impoverished areas, but there's a lot of, I believe too, that we don't address those issues soon enough, or we
yeah,
overlook it, and then by the time it's when it does become noticeable, it's completely out of hand,
mm-hmm,
and it's almost hard to really even deal with it, because we don't deal with mental illness as we should as a culture of people.
yes. And especially, um, well, this is what I want to say. Your A lot of our mental health is at risk
Hmm.
when we live in poverty areas, or
Hmm.
we're experiencing um, not being able to find a job, or a lot of individuals, they have jobs, but it's just enough to pay your bills.
Hmm.
And once you pay your bills, you have little income left,
Hmm.
or the insecurities of housing
Hmm.
and insecurities of the type of food that you eat.
Right.
All that is happening in our community, and that happens every day.
Hmm.
So this is something that has been lived in our community for the longest,
Hmm.
but we are as a community, we looked at therapy and medication as a last resort. Like, we didn't believe
We
in
didn't even
that.
look at it as a
Yeah,
last
we didn't.
resort. It
A
wasn't a
lot of
resort.
people just was like, you finna go see a shrink, or you finna go, and which I don't even like the name, but that's what they say. You're going to see a shrink, or you know, I don't have to go see a therapist and tell them all our business. This is how we think.
Hmm.
I don't have to go see a therapist to tell them all my business. But if we really look at it, if you feeling, some things is when you talk to someone that you don't know,
Hmm.
where can they really take your business? They can't take it anywhere, no more than them talking to you. They went to school for it,
Hmm.
and you definitely wouldn't be the first person that they had to do
Right.
therapy with or do counseling with.
Hmm.
But they're not going to take it, and just like it's under confidentiality, number one. But
Hmm.
then you'll find out when you go sitting before someone and you talk to them,
Hmm.
and it's not someone that you know. Um, and you give that release on how you feel, it may be something that you can't go tell somebody that you know, because you don't want them to judge you. You don't want it to get out to the next family member or the next friend. So when you go tell this individual, you'll find out, if you try it, you'll find out that just by talking to someone that does not know, that do not know the people that you know, and it's just a release, you'll feel better on the inside. And they can give you insight, and they won't give you like a biased insight, because they don't know your loved ones. If a loved one done something to you, or they kind of influence your trauma, they don't know those loved ones. So you can easily sit and talk with these individuals, and it would never go anywhere.
Right.
So we didn't believe in it a lot of times, so we lacked, the help that we needed for our community. But I'm going to say today that it is okay to be able to go talk to somebody, because it's just a release. The more that you release, you can heal. So some people in our community, again, they don't believe in medication, but some people, they need medication. um, they think, some feel that medication, it'll do something to your body, such as my son as well. He felt like it would do something to your body, but it's a matter of you really paying attention to what medication that will work for your body. And then some, with their mental illness, is so severe, and you're chemically imbalanced, that you need something to balance you off, because certain mental illness, which are severe, can cause your death anyway, just by having it. A lot of people commit suicide, and it's influenced by mental illness. So, in order to keep you alive, we need something. You need something to balance that off.
Right.
Or if you're not regulated, or you think it distorted, we want to, your loved ones, and even you as yourself, want to be able to be in a state of mind where you can function, where you can kind of be yourself.
Right. I would agree with that. And I think we need to kind of, one of the things we have to do, I believe in this, and I'm not having this conversation as a professional in that field, but sometimes your experience will be a teacher for you as well. I think what we also need to look at too, even before things get so far out of control, where it requires that you have to, because at some point when it gets that far out of hand, you have to take something. You have to, in order to get you and yourself in a stable space, in a stable frame of mind. But we don't look at some of the things that triggers some of these ailments. If we look at even the foods that we're intaking, there's so much, like, the chemical imbalance starts before it even gets to the point where it's that far out of hand. There are some things that we should be doing, preventive things that we should be doing for our own well-being, to help minimize that chemical imbalance, as you were saying. And then there are some things that I think that we even did, like, I'll just use myself as an example. I think even with COVID, it kind of set the tone for even how I started to deal with some things. There's things that as a child, that was traumatizing to me, and it surfaced. How it triggered, but it triggered. It surfaced after COVID. How that all played a part in everything, I really don't know. But it lays a heavy form of depression and different things that you kind of, like, I would find myself trying to isolate from people. And all of it is there were things that were traumatizing even beforehand, but it surfaced after the fact. So, like, trying to figure out what we can do.
Well, you got to think about this too. Well, during COVID, which we still in that era still, but during COVID, there was a certain period of time where it was mandated that everyone stay inside. So when everyone had to stay inside, they had to put up with themselves. They had to deal with themselves. They had to deal with other people inside those areas. They couldn't go out. If you did go out, you need to hurry up, go where you going,
and get back inside.
Face mask, go back in. And that's when you really get to realize, oh my God,
this is what I'm
really
doing.
You either got to be in the house by yourself. If you live alone, you got to be in your house by yourself. Day in it. When did it last? For like a month.
Oh my God.
It lasted for a while. And then, then others, if they stayed with someone, they had to be in a house with this group of people. What if you had like larger families? and then you had to deal with, you couldn't go anywhere, so it's just day in and day out, living on a norm. If you're in a larger size family, everybody go to their daily day to day tasks. They go to work, they go here, they go there, so they don't have time to sit and things marinate.
Right.
But with that pandemic and in that time where they mandated everyone stay in, you had some people and even couples. Next thing you know, you see on the news. You see on the news, and it's not it's not funny, but it did happen.
Right. Yeah.
You see on the news where individuals either their homes were broken up because they couldn't take sitting in in the same perimeter the whole time for a whole month, nowhere to go, or you had some that already were dealing with some mental illness, but then what it did is it kind of rose, and then there you go.
Who am I dealing with?
They kill it. Who was this person? It got to the point where they were killing each other, like or killing the kids, or killing the it just got so out of hand, and so that's why I say the pandemic, what it did is it birthed another pandemic. So yes, we're in a pandemic. The pandemic is not gone because you still see the numbers up on the screen, but it birthed another pandemic, and now we need to address that.
Like, you know what? Prime example. All those people that passed away during COVID. That's a whole thing that people still have to. That's a whole nother thing. That's not even I don't believe even that's because that takes a while to even just get through that. So there's so many different areas that
and I wanted to say one thing too, because I'm getting some texts. Some people wanted to get on, but they can't because it's blocked.
What's blocked?
The live.
Let me give me just a moment, you guys.
So can I keep going?
Keep going.
Okay, so and even itself, when you want to talk about the COVID-19 and then having to stay in and whatnot, but not just that, the most severe thing, so let's not go past that, is that death happened. Happened in every, I believe, it's just my belief. And if it didn't happen to you, then God bless you, and that's a good thing. You blessed and highly favored. But everybody's family experienced death during the pandemic. So experience of death by itself is traumatizing.
Yeah. So
when it's traumatizing, some people, they don't handle death where they can, and especially if it's close in a perimeter, they don't handle death where it's just easy to go on. No, when you're dealing with sorrow and then you lose a loved one, that brings up on anxiety, it brings up on depression. So just imagine so many people that died, or even imagine that if it didn't hit your household, you sitting there and you're watching on the news day to day, and mind you, the news is also can be something that
oh my God
can get depressing, or it can affect your mental health.
It hit your household because it either hit you or it hit somebody that you know. So it definitely, one way or the other, it still impacted you in some form or fashion.
And so if you watching the news and you study seeing, and excuse me, but it was happening where they're bringing trucks in, and they're bringing trucks in, and it's bodies that they're taking out, and imagine the people in the hospital. It was getting to the point, it was getting to them, and they constantly have to see all these individuals or loved ones that's leaving out, and deceased. So that right there should tell us that we have to, that we might as well get prepared for these things, because it was coming. And so yes, the pandemic did birth another pandemic, and that was a pandemic of mental illness. It is happening, and now that we know that it's happening, we have to give it the attention that it needs.
Right.
So,
which leads us to other subject matter as it relates to the resources that are available to the people in our communities. Like, what are some resources that people can take advantage of, to help them deal with this?
Okay. There are some things that's going to be going on, and some of it, it will be. Can we use your podcast again?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So there will be some individuals that will be coming on. One is by the name of Montreal Kane, and then the other one is her name is Brenda Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
There are some programs that's going to get ready to get started. Really, really nice programs to help individuals that um, deal with mental illness, and if you haven't dealt with it, it just kind of it's some therapeutic things that they're going to introduce to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say it's awesome, it is awesome. Brenda, she's going to do more like mental health awareness,
Mm-hmm.
so that individuals can be aware of mental illness and how it works,
Okay.
the stigma of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's going to go over into that part,
Okay.
so you all can stay tuned to that. As far as myself is concerned, I'm getting together now, and this is something else I want to explain before I let you all know, as far as what the project that I'm working on.
on.
Um, as a community,
Mm-hmm.
we have to come together, and we have to do fundraisers for the individuals that are coming up with solutions to help our community. Let's not be lazy about this. Let's not be stingy about this. There, I was thinking for a while about this situation that happened in Kenosha. This
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Rittenhouse person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this was in Kenosha. All of the people that backed him up with what he was, the Proud Boys or something. He was a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
They
Millions
came
of
up with
dollars.
millions of dollars,
Yeah.
not grant money.
Mm-hmm. Out of their
Now, see,
pocket.
our people, we have programs, and the first thing, because I got an email, I tried to present it and let them know, this is a program that I think will help our community.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing they say, go on this website. That's a good idea. Go on this website
Mm-hmm.
and fill out for this grant. But when it comes to other communities, they they will come out their pocket,
And they're not all day getting it done.
and they're donating funds
Mm-hmm.
to support. We need
To do.
our
We need to
community
do better.
to
Just as
$50 won't hurt you to
right.
donate to the better good, to help our community.
Mm-hmm.
$100 will not hurt you to donate to the community. Those that have businesses,
Mm-hmm.
$500 or $1,000 will not hurt you to
Mm-hmm.
help your people.
You know what we first have to do? I understand what you're saying, but we have to get to a point where one, we stop waiting until it knocks on our door. That part is just
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
We don't make moves. We don't decide to do anything unless it's me in my house. If it's not bothering me in my house, then you know what? I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But we wait
Mm-hmm.
until it hit our door, and then all of a sudden we want to make drastic changes. That part right there,
Mm-hmm.
oh my goodness, is just ridiculous because if it hits your house, it hit my house.
Yep. Yep.
If it knocks on your door, it knocked at my door.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get out of that mindset of if it don't bother me, then you just you don't bother with it. But we have to, and we function this way for such a long time. I don't know, I can't say I don't know why we function like that because I do have an idea, but
Mm-hmm.
we got to do better.
Yep.
And we
Yep.
can't keep allowing things to go on in our communities and don't say anything until it knocks on our doors. Because
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, whether it knock on your door today or your door tomorrow, it's gonna knock at your door. Period.
Yep.
Point blank. It's gonna knock at your door. So we definitely got to do
We got to do
a
better.
lot better in
We
that
have
area.
to do better, and we got to look, and we have to love ourselves, and we have to love our
Mm-hmm.
community enough to want to see
That's
the
what it
change
is.
that's needed, or want to support
Mm-hmm.
support individuals that's willing to step out there and present change.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and I call those individuals leaders because they're not being doormat, or they're not
Right.
sitting back and not doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
but they're trying to do everything that they can do to
bring
change
about
our
change.
community.
Yeah.
And so it's not a race. We have a lot of people that's out here that is trying to do things for change.
Mm-hmm.
Get behind them and support them.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I say. Get behind them, support them, and if you can't support any other kind of way, pray for them,
And
because
if
it's a
you
lot of work.
know of, and on this live right now, I know there's some people like Von Mays. There's some
Mm-hmm.
people in the city of Milwaukee that are doing. If you know of an organization that's doing something, put it in the comments because we need to know. Put it in the comments because the support, just like any other, everybody needs the support. This stuff is not free. ain't free. So really come out of their pockets
Mm-hmm.
and just handling stuff,
The
but they
effort,
shouldn't have
the
to do
effort
that.
itself is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot
Yeah.
to do this from a day-to-day task. And I
Right.
can tell you, when you come up with programs or you come up with things that you want to do and
Mm-hmm.
step forward and do, you lay down with it on your mind. You wake up with it on your mind.
Yes.
Sometimes
Oh my God.
you lose sleep. You give your time and energy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to sit there and hear all these people that's saying discouraging things to you, and then you kind of get discouraged. And instead of us just rallying behind people and say, "Come on, let's get this done.
Yeah.
Let's what can I do to help?" You also receive backlash
Mm-hmm.
before you actually receive the
The
help.
help you need.
I
Yeah.
will get an example for Von Mace, and I could be wrong, but each time that I have reached out, he have replied back. You don't have to sit in the presence of individuals. That Von Mace is one individual trying to help a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
He can't be everywhere, but what he does do, if you reach one person,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't help the community.
Mm-hmm.
If you reach 20 people, you sure enough have helped the community. So
Mm-hmm.
he can't be at every door.
Yeah.
But it's like now he's in one area, the next person, Montreal, is in another area, Brenda is in another area, and I'm just naming off a few.
Mm-hmm.
And then so when we do these things, um, it's not what you can backlash on, but what can you do to be
To
a
help.
part of something?
Mm-hmm.
What can you do to help?
Yeah.
If you too busy on your day to day, donate something.
Mm-hmm.
Every program that you have, it take funds to get it done,
Mm-hmm.
or else you get everything that you have, you
It's
get it
coming out
out
of
your own
pocket.
pocket.
Mm-hmm. And it's not that you don't even want to. You actually, the fulfillment of helping people, it doesn't bother you. But when you're helping somebody else's child, because this is not about me and mine. When you're reaching out, making some changes, it's impacting somebody else's child that may not even belong to you.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is, it could be yours. It could
Mm-hmm.
be you could have it could be your family member dealing with mental illness. And I do prime example, and it really hurt me to my heart because I remember I was heading to the office one day, and I saw this gentleman walking in the middle of the street, and he didn't have any shoes on, and he was talking to himself, and he was just like in a whole different world on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there and I looked and I said, you know what, that could have been.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to not look. And I was so grateful because just so happened right when I was crossing the street, a fire truck came and they were
Mm-hmm.
actually working with him. But it's like that could be your family member, that could be your uncle, that could
Yep.
be your
Yep.
aunt, your brother,
Yep.
your sister. So you got to look at it as it's a very big possibility that could knock on my door. So what can I
Mm-hmm.
do right now? Because me helping somebody right now might benefit me long term because it might be mine next.
Yep.
So it's just that mindset that we got to have to change the narrative on all of this.
Mm-hmm. And then everybody, uh, another thing too, how mental illness work, and if it's a severe mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking again that I said previously on the other podcast,
Mm-hmm.
that your thinking is distorted.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is for our community too is to go back and look these things up, look up
Research it.
the list of mental illness and how it works, so you know what it looks like
Yeah.
when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Educate yourself on it so you know how to help the next person.
Right.
So when their thinking is distorted, the one that's helping them will be the first one
Yeah.
that they feel that is against them,
Mm-hmm.
or in their mind they think that that's their enemy.
Right.
The one the one that's closest to them, they feel that is their enemy. No matter
Right.
how much love that you give,
Mm-hmm.
if they were their normal selves,
Right.
they would know that, but they can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
So because they can't help it, their mind is telling them that, okay, this person against me, because they constantly, they at me, but we're not at them. We're trying
Trying to
to
help.
locate resources and try to locate help
Mm-hmm.
for them because something has went wrong with your loved ones.
Right.
So explaining that, you may not be the one that can help.
But the next
The
person.
next person may be able to get through to them.
Right.
And that's where the society comes in at.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the community comes in at.
Right.
And that's where other family members come in at, because that individual may not be the one to help,
Mm-hmm.
because you won't be able to reach them.
Right.
You can try, but you can't reach them, but you have to do it in other ways. So, and don't take it personal because they can't help you. They love you, but there's nothing that they can do about their illness.
Right.
So do not take it personal, but do everything that you can do to help your loved ones. And if even if that means to step back and allow someone else
Mm-hmm.
to get through to that person, and then you rally behind them to get the work done. But
Right.
there's ways to do it, but then that also brings it into a community effort.
Right. And I want to make sure I'm trying with these segments. I'm gonna try to, as much as possible, maintain the 30 minute. Because I don't know about y'all, y'all patience, but I can go for so long, and then that's it. That's it for me. But so I try to keep my goal is to make sure the segments are within a 30 minute time frame. But I want to make sure that we talk about your project before we end this segment. The project that you're going to be working on.
Okay, so the project that I'm going to be working on is the project that I'm going to be working on is for homeless people and those that deal with mental illness. This project I have been kind of putting together for some months, and I have the youth actually helping me with this project.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you see individuals that suffering from mental illness, I have been in contact with case managers, so that they can also text me and let me know, you know, of their patients, and that the patient, they don't have to give me their information, but we put together care packages for them,
Mm-hmm.
and the care packages can consist of um personal care
Mm-hmm.
items. It consists of um, just like little knickknacks, like little snacks.
Mm-hmm.
It consists of like encouraging words,
Right.
candles, different things, little notes letting them know that we care, don't give up, God loves you.
Mm-hmm.
These simple things, what can put a smile on somebody's face. These simple things can encourage somebody to try to get the help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have to be someone that you know. So
Right.
these care packages are put together, and we just drive around,
Mm-hmm.
and when you see someone homeless, you give them that care package and let them know you are loved. You
Mm-hmm.
keep going, you stay encouraged. People that deal with mental illness, they open up their care package, and you'd be surprised how it would brighten up their day.
Mm-hmm.
These are things we have to do, things that would provide a healing process for individuals. Uh, this one person, I came across. I was going in Walgreens,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have the money. I just had my card, and I didn't have the money on me. I left it in the car. So I
Mm-hmm.
went back to, and he was like, "Well, you got some change?" And I was like, I don't have it on me. But then I thought about it. Well, yes, you do. You got some in the car. Go
Right.
get that out the car, bring it back to him, which I did. And he said, "Well, thank you." And I said, "Oh, you're welcome." But then he said he wanted to have a whole longer conversation. He said, "Can I ask you a question?" He said, "Do you believe in prayer?" I said, "Oh,
Mm.
yes." I said, "I believe in prayer." He
Mm.
said, "Well, will you pray for me?" And he gave me a little scenario. I said, "I tell you what, me and you gonna pray together.
Mm-hmm.
When you pray tonight, I said, wherever I'm at, I'm gonna pray too. So we're gonna
Mm.
say the same prayer."
Mm-hmm.
He closed his eyes
Mm.
and just put his hand and just said, "Thank you so much."
Mm.
Those things, it's like, don't respond to people like you are above them,
Yes.
but you need to respond to them like, "I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage you." And there's another project that we're trying to get together, and that's to open. And I would encourage churches to do this as well. We have a lot of homeless people here in the city of Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage the churches, if you don't have other programs going on, or if you can squeeze this program in, at
Hmm.
least provide 2 or 3 days out the week where you can feed these individuals that are
Mm-hmm.
homeless. Just feed them a hot meal,
Mm-hmm.
a hot breakfast, or a hot lunch, a
A
hot
safe
dinner,
place.
and it's a safe place. Get a TV and put it in the basement of your church.
Just something that.
Put a little couch down there or some chairs down there so that they don't have to sit outside
Mm-hmm.
all day. They don't have to beg and say, "I need a couple coins so that I can give me a sandwich."
Mm-hmm.
We have kitchen. I'm
Mm-hmm.
being honest.
Mm.
We have
That are not being
kitchens
used every day.
in our churches.
Mm-hmm.
We have basements
Mm-hmm.
in our churches.
Yep.
The ministry goes so far and beyond that
Those
we
doors.
can help these individuals
Yep.
that's sitting outside every day, all day, and then we just open up the doors for certain specific things. Services are wonderful. Do we get these homeless people in a lot of times? No, we don't. We got to start
You got to
somewhere.
reach them before they come
Yeah, we
upstairs.
have to start somewhere. So if that means they don't have to sit outside all day, let them come in for a certain amount of time and feed them.
That is ministry. That is ministry.
And then some say, well, they don't have to be. Some of these people is homeless and they out here. But you know what?
Hmm.
There are more people that's mentally ill that's homeless than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And do they have a place to stay? Could they have had a place to stay? Yes, they can. But that's not how mental illness works. The home that was their home, they don't feel safe there no longer. They're not feeling safe.
So they need a safe
So
place.
what they do is they go out there, not because a lot of times it's by force. Some of that is by choice because mentally you have a higher percentage of mentally ill individuals outside homeless because their thinking is distorted.
Right.
So they no longer trust that place that they were in before.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? You open up these places, open up the churches, feed them hot meals, let them sit and watch TV. We have to show them love. They're human beings. They're still God's people, and we still have a responsibility to show love.
All right. Um, that's the segment. Um, I, I I think that we get the message, and it's entirely up to each individual to make the decision that they're gonna be about that type of change. It's just that simple. It's that simple. So I appreciate those who have tuned in. Again, if you know of an organization or someone who's trying to help in the community or help people in some way, form, or fashion, please make sure you include them in the comments, because I think it's important that we know who they are so that we can be, everybody can be supportive and be that village, that support system, that resource that's available to help make the necessary changes for these people who are suffering and dealing with different things.
And can I say one more thing? I always have one more
You
thing to
got
say.
one. You got. You
Please
got
don't,
1 minute.
please don't shut me off here. Give me like 40 minutes next time. Okay, so yeah, one more thing too. There's so much that we can do in our community that we don't we allowing other people on the outside of our community to provide the help that we need for mental illness. Their number one on the list is the jail system. So you have a whole bunch of individuals that's in jail right now or incarcerated or in Mendota, and that's their number one solution. I don't care what they say, but that is the number one solution for them. The next thing they have facilities that they may just say, oh, the individual come in for a week and you send them back out. And when you send them back out within a week or two, that's still a revolving door.
Right.
And revolving doors, it continue to make money, So these are not things that's actually restoring our community. Is not restoring individuals that deal with mental illness. But we have to speak up and say something concerning. We have um in our community, we have so many buildings that are closed. We have so many abandoned buildings that are closed. Why not take these buildings and turn it into therapeutic environments, um, and sessions and different other things that we can do to provide resources to them? Bring this, there's too many abandoned buildings where it should be some sensory buildings where they can come in and get the help that they need. We got too many closed buildings, too many that could be utilized. We need more um, therapeutic buildings. We need more buildings that can provide counseling, and we need more people that can go. We need people in our community to go to school to be a therapist, to be a counselor, and to understand what's going on in our community, so that they can get out there and they can help and provide longer term treatment for our people. These are things that we need. So if we kind of look at these things more closely, take it more serious, speak up more of the things that we need, and until we speak up and say these are the things that we need, what can you all do for us? And there are certain things that are not helping our people. If we don't speak up and say anything, then it's unspoken. And again, I say things that are unspoken is unheard of. So there's a lot of things that we do have to change.
All right. I appreciate you being on the segment. This is the Passion Room, and anything and everything that you're passionate about, we come up with, we try to talk about it so we can establish some way to provide solutions, to deal with whatever we're dealing with as far as the things that we want to change, things that we want to build, things we want to do. This is what we talk about here in the Passion Room. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. All right. You all have a great day.